I checked Eternal Dagger, and its emphasis was more on awareness being more important than scans. So we could probably get by with 100, uh, or have our primary person have like 150 or something like that, and everyone else have 100. Uh, that's pretty much it. I took in the one of the 18 items of Brigantine from the inn and put in a fine heavy spear. I know that this isn't great, but it's a medium item, and I don't have good enough haggle to sell it, at least not yet, for maximum value. So that's what I'll do with this. Even though it's heavy and it's fine and the thrust rating's pretty good, it's not worth uh, keeping. We can find a very sharp spear at the marathon dungeon, so we don't really need finer, very fine spears or what have you. So it is kind of a little bit random on what you find and what you get in terms of like fine, very fine, sharp, very sharp. And then there's dwarven, elven, reinforcing as far as possible items that you can get for like armor or shields or what have you. Uh, yeah, there's the inn. Oh, so this little crown that I got for looting was like one of the first few fights after I have, of course, stopped the previous recording. That's worth probably about 10,000 or so. I don't know the exact value. It's been an eternity since I've played Wizard's Crown, but I think crowns are 2,000 and Emerald is 5 on top of that. But we'll see when our haggle gets maximized, and we'll get mega money for that. Far more than Brigantine. So treasures are a good way of making some big bucks, but they're kind of randomized. So that's why for this guy I'm putting search as going to be his next skill, and he's going to maximize it. Search is very important for finding items. So a good search score, we probably get a lot of magical stuff. It's random, but better to have it early when the early part of the game is like very important to have high skills rather than the later part of the game where it isn't as important, because by then everyone is pretty darn good and you're moving on pretty much. So my intention is to only get them up to a strength score that will let them use good one-handed weapons. So, or use a weapon, maximize that's one-handed. Of course, there'll be some exceptions to this. So, for him, that this would mean a battle axe, which requires 12 strength. I'm not planning to go high strength scores for any of these characters, so 12 is probably going to be the max for basically everybody. Flail, he's already pretty much has max strength. He might get one more if he gets a large flail. Mace only needs 10. Morningstar is 16, so I don't know what we'll find. We might find them all for all I know. So balls, I think, require like about 13 strength, but his focus is, of course, going to be on dexterity. There's no point in spending any more points on strength when dexterity is much, much more important. So, alright, so yeah. Broadsword, that's the best sword that you can use, with the exception of a long sword. That's 16 strength to use, and the likelihood of finding a long sword that is good, that is magical, probably not very high. And the random generator is, of course, random for a reason, so probably more likely to find like scimitars or uh, maybe other broadswords or claymores, great swords, what have you, but long swords, I doubt it. So